More than 130 years ago, a man named Jack Watson took his family out into one of the emptiest parts of the Utah desert. And he built a life out here. Today, I'm out here to find what remains. Well, we just pulled off of the paved road and we're heading down a dirt road for about 15 or 16 miles. I've never been here and I'm excited to find it. And we are in a very remote part of Utah. As I sit right now, we're about 49 miles away from the nearest town. And like I said, we still have 15 miles into the desert to get to where he lived. So pretty remote out here. Yeah, this place is so remote, but the geology out here is incredible. There's a lot of sport and trad climbing out here. Just take a look at the rock formations that are out here. It's crazy. But I'd say, I just pulled over for a second just to check out these rocks, but we're still about, I'd say 7 miles from Jack's place. So I'll get back on the road here. Whoa, the wind! It's actually not too bad of a road, just, man, these washboards. This big prominent rock feature behind me is called Warm Point. And we just have to go a little bit further down the road here. I just pulled off here. And then we turn right to go up the canyon where Jack lived. So we're not too far, but look at the rock formation here. I mean, all these rock formations are amazing, just this whole area. But yeah, this is called Warm Point. That whole thing right there. But look at these huge boulders that just come out of nowhere and they're just sitting here. Yeah, the geology out here is incredible. Wish I knew anything about geology. Yeah, it's still windy, just in case you're wondering. Still windy. We're getting close, just pulled off onto a smaller road. Pretty tiny here, but nothing we can't handle. Yeah, probably about a half mile away or so. Okay, well, I made it. And it's not too windy here, still windy. I could probably put up my drone now. I had to get the back of my truck because it's so windy. Jack and his family came out here in the late 1800s, and he called this place Ibex. One of the accounts says that he saw something, maybe a pronghorn or a desert bighorn out here, and he thought it was an ibex, so he called this place Ibex. And another account says that he found horns out here that he thought were ibex horns. So either way, the place is called Ibex. And this isn't a ghost town in the traditional sense. This entire place was Jack Watson and his family. They ran sheep out here in the county, and it's said that he opened a store and a small hotel for travelers. And I guess he may have operated a post office out here in 1898 when it opened. Man, it's so hard to imagine that just with how isolated we are out here. It's crazy. But Jack did a few interesting things to survive out here because it's so desolate. I mean, how can anyone survive in this kind of environment, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is wander the area and actually find where he was set up. Like I said, I've read some about this, but I don't know the exact locations of anything. Yeah, I'm just going to get out there and poke around and see what I can find. There's an old fence right here with barbed wire. Seeing some remnants of civilization out here. There's all kind of rusted things out here. Yeah, let's just keep going in and see what we see. Lots of rusted things out here. This kind of rock table right here. From what I've read, this is a table that he would have used. And there's a lot of remnants of things around here. Tons of stuff just pocketing the ground as far as rusted items. Man, it's hot today and it feels so good right here by this table. Whew. Another interesting thing about Jack Watson is that he kept detailed diaries about life in Utah, isolation, the beginning of the sheep industry here. I know there's a climbing book out here that references Jack and has some history because there's a lot of climbing out here in modern day. Let's explore further on what he has to show us here. Look at the view that Jack had here. And he's kind of butted up against these rock formations here. It's kind of a mountain, hill, rock, outcropping, whatever. But apparently there's a small stream here, or perhaps the remnants of a spring, and he would block that off for water, for, the sheep, the cattle, the horses. Oh, and actually, here it is. I really didn't know it was right here. So yeah, like I said, he blocked off wherever this running water would happen just to conserve as much water as possible. Check this out. So the stream runs down here, and this is the wall that Jack built. Look at that. Just like a small dam out here. Here's from the other side. See, it's just cemented right on the rock face there. Here's some piping in the middle, some old piping. It's incredible to think that Jack built all of this in the late 1800s, in isolation, when there were no vehicles, when you had to rely on things from other travelers, you know, to help you out if they were coming and going. I personally would say this is kind of a way station, if I had to call it anything. Jack built this thing to last, and it has lasted. This rock I'm sitting on is the perfect seat. It's right by that little dam that I showed you, just overlooking it. Look in front of me. There it is. I feel like I'm just getting too excited finding stuff. Okay, so behind me is that wall that Jack built, that dam. Now I'm standing in where the water would catch. It's definitely a different kind of texture on the ground, more vegetation and stuff. But I'm gonna go up further. I think there's another dam that he built up. I think I see it right now. So I'm kind of walking in that wash that he blocked up. And the next dam that he built is right there. Let's go check it out. Might need to watch for snakes in the grass here. It's getting pretty grassy. It looks like he may have stacked rocks along the way though. These ones seem stacked. On the other side, kind of got stacked right there. So the water would run up this, or run down this. Sorry, I'm walking up the stream here. And here's the next dam that he built. There it is, just plugging up this whole section here. Also got a pipe going down there, running down out towards the other one. Yeah, this is like a little slot canyon where the water would run down, I guess. I mean, there's nothing running here. I suppose he was just relying on lots of rainfall and then he would catch whatever he could get. And look where the water comes down, kind of down this right here, hits this. Then it goes into kind of a bigger area. Then the other first dam is right there. I'm gonna hike up above those dams and get a better view of everything. It's my favorite type of rock to hike on. It's just so grippy and easy to scramble up. All right, I'm above everything now. You can get kind of a better view of what it looks like. Second dam is right there. Water filters down here. First dam is right there. In the desert. Man, look how beautiful this is. I think I found a pack rat's home here. See a bunch of rat poop. Yeah, you can't really see it, but there's actually all kinds of life out here. Lots of birds, lots of insects, lots of rodents. You know, there's rabbits out here. The occasional fox, so I've heard. I've never seen a fox out here. Finding a lot of rusted cans out here. This one's pretty intact, full of sand. Yeah, there's a bunch over here. I mean, honestly, this place is pretty much covered in trash. You could call it trash. I call it history. Trash is history. It's just a matter of time. I could probably bring something out here and throw it in the desert. And for the next 50 years, people would be disgusted at it. And then in 100 years, people would marvel at it. Jack just left all the stuff here, and then I'm amazed at it. I'm walking up this hillside here to get a better view of everything. It's windy. Oh, it's so nice right here behind this rock without all the wind. So standing on top of that rock outcropping, I think I see another dam he built down there to block off some more water. So I'm going to drive around and walk up that, see what that's all about. But I assume he just wanted to catch all the water he could, so he built these little dams in every little runoff so we could catch everything. But let's go check it out. I've hiked alone in the desert so much of my life, even with trail running and everything, and it makes me wonder how many mountain lions I've missed or how many have seen me. I'm sure it's quite a few times, more than I probably think or hope. I've never seen a mountain lion in the wild, and I actually want to see one. I say that, then cut to me being mauled by a mountain lion. There's so much trash here, or just rusted whatever. Everywhere. Mostly cans. Maybe just cans of food, because I assumed canned food was primarily what would keep out here. I act like I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you come to these places, though, they leave you with more questions than answers. These are the barrels that Jack used. It always feels like a nursery rhyme to me. The dam that Jack built. The barrels that Jack used. Nothing in it but trash. Look at around this tree. There's like, rock decoration around this tree. I mean, we are in the middle of nowhere. This looks like it's in somebody's front yard or something. I'm gonna go up to that dam I found when I was up on that rock outcropping. Looks like it's just right up here. Oh yeah, check this out. And you can see the vegetation that is stuck behind it. That means it's catching something. I'm walking a little further to the side. Oh yeah, even more right here. He's just rerouting the water. I'm sure he just paid attention to where all the water came down and built these little cement blocks to route it wherever he wanted. Check these ones out. Not as big, but just to push the water a certain way. Oh no, I know what's going on. Okay, he's routing everything to that dam that we just saw. Check it out, I'll go above it so you can see it better. So the water would flow down from the mountain here. It would hit this first cement barrier, make its way down here through this little channel. Then he built this, which would route the water down this way through these two big rocks. Then it would go down to that big cement barrier and collect right here. Man, how clever do you have to be to live out here? I mean, that's the word that keeps coming to mind, is clever. He just had to be intuitive and think of what to do to survive. This was kind of like a little station for people that were traveling. It was more traveled than it is today. Barely anybody out here. You're actually lucky if you see anybody out here today. Or unlucky in my case. I'd love to be alone. Some accounts say that he had some type of hotel out here, so people would come here and stay as kind of a way station. And I can imagine people being here and just camping, letting their horses and whatever animals they had get a drink of water. It's a really liminal feeling out here right now, being in a place that once was bustling. I mean, bustling is a relative term, but more people out here than there is today. Really, really cool feeling to be out here and just kind of poke around at the history. Still can't get over this. It's so weird. I mean, I guess when you're out here living, you want to make it look a little nicer, right? Sun's going down. I mean, it's summer, so sun goes down later this time of year. Good time to pick a camping spot, relax for a little bit, and eat some food. Come on now. The desert. I'm not one for forests. I'm more for the open desert. I like an open view at sunset and sunrise. I don't like to be cramped in with trees. Although I don't mind the forest, but if I had a choice, it would be something like this, Utah in the western United States is just full of so much cool history, so much cool isolated history. So fun to be doing this, and I appreciate you guys watching. Anyway, that's the thing about the desert, when it gets in the shade, it gets cold. And during the day, it's just so hot. I got some ranch and some cold pizza, baby. You guys like ranch on your pizza? Warm or cold, pizza's so good. I didn't bring any pants, so kind of screwed in that area. This is my least favorite time of night. When the sunset's gone, it's just silhouette of all the mountains. Everything looks like a really dark blue, kind of, I guess. It's my least favorite time of the day. I don't know why. Anybody else have that feeling? It's just this time of day, too. I'm gonna head to bed. I will see you guys in the morning. It was a nice cold night. Got some pretty good sleep. The wind died down. It doesn't seem like there's any wind at all outside. And I've got to tell the rest of Jack Watson's story. Not that there's a ton left, but got to wrap up that chapter of this video. Nice and calm, nice and cool. Right over there is where we explored that last dam that Jack built. And I want to be respectful of the area, so I actually camped kind of outside of it. Okay, I'm gonna get out of the truck. Sun's rising. You can see the hills getting the sun on them. So Jack Watson moved out here with his family, right? They were sheep herders. He took care of people that came and went through this valley, you know, had a post office, maybe a small hotel. But really, him and his family, they ran it, right? But by the end of his accounts or his records, he was isolated. So he was alone out here. And some accounts say that his wife died through childbirth. Some accounts say that he outlived his children as well. But the story remains consistent to where he left isolated. He was alone out here. Jack was something else. I mean, back in the early 1900s, living in this harsh environment, he lived out here longer than some ghost towns survive or some mining towns survive. So he really wanted to make this work. And he tried everything. And the very end to the story, which isn't really that exciting, but I guess he was working on some government well or something. Anyway, he was working on some object in the desert for the government, and he mangled his hand in whatever he was working on. So he had to get that amputated. I mean, with one hand out here, man, it turns into like triple survival. So Jack, you know, had his time out here with his family and then eventually left to some bigger town. But survived for a long time, over 30 years out here. And this is what he saw in the mornings. All right, anyway, on this non-windy, beautiful desert morning in Utah, I think we'll end it there with the story of Jack Watson and his family. Just coming out here with some of the story and then being able to see it with my own eyes is incredible. Kind of piecing it together as I find certain things of, you know, these historical places. And if stuff like this is interesting to you, I upload every Wednesday. I appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to subscribe and like the video and give me a comment. But I'll be doing, like I said, I'll be doing this every Wednesday. So just gonna head out of here, enjoy the morning, put down the camera, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.